G'day Rankers, Happy New Year. And what a year it's starting out as. About 18 months ago, I wrote about agentic commerce. In fact, I had a whole chapter dedicated to it. And basically what I was saying is that it's going to evolve to a point where we're letting AI and agents purchase on our behalf. And at the time, a few people I spoke to said, I don't know if people will go for that. But even just before Christmas, I said, it's just a matter of time before we see Google come out with some sort of checkout in their AI mode or Gemini, because the writing's on the wall. And the reason that I said that is that we know that anything that makes the shopping journey easier, anything that removes friction is going to work for the shopper. And if it works for the shopper, they're going to flock to it. And Google just this week has announced Universal Commerce Protocol, which is basically an open source that will allow any merchant to have their products discovered in Google Gemini and Google AI mode, and not only discover, but also check out. So the user will never actually visit your site. Now we've talked about zero-click results for years. Well, now we get zero-click conversions, right? And that poses a few interesting questions. First thing, you, the merchant, still own the client. That's important. And this Universal Commerce Protocol is available for any platform to use. In fact, Google's got all the instructions on their site. I'll leave the links in the description. And you can go and implement this on your own e-commerce sites. But if you're on Shopify, wait, there's more. So Universal Commerce Protocol, if you want to be included of its implementation in Google Gemini and Google AI mode, you will have to have a Google Merchant Center account set up. And if you're a retailer, you've probably already done that anyway. A few caveats, it's not available anywhere except in the US, and even in the US, there is a waiting list. But it is coming. This protocol has been built with the aid of Google, Shopify, Target, Walmart, a few other big retailers. But Google is talking about it as the USB-C, if you like, for agentic commerce. And its adoption, I think, will be taken up fairly easily and readily because you've got Google, who's the biggest player on the block. Like last year, we had OpenAI announce Agentic Commerce Protocol. Sorry for all the TLAs today. And that's a little bit more closed because unlike Google's UCP, it's an open standard, it's universal. OpenAI isn't. And Google allows all the different payment platforms access. And really, it's an open source, it's an open standard, so anyone can get involved and use it. Now, if you're on Shopify, before we get to UCP, there's something else that you could be doing if it's available to you yet, because once again, all of these things have waiting lists. And that is what they're calling their Agentic Storefront. Now, they've been talking about this for a while, but they're giving it a real push now and they're rolling it out to stores. So what is this? Well, it's a way for you to easily present your catalog, your brand voice, your FAQs, anything else you need in your knowledge base, your warranty, your return, all that information is allowing you to present it easily to all of these different agentic platforms like ChatGPT, like Perplexity, like not Google Gemini and AI mode yet, but they're coming. Microsoft Copilot's the other one that you'll be surfaced in if you have this a feature in your store. And it is using another TLA, using what's called MCP, which is a protocol developed by Anthropic. You don't need to know about that. Essentially, that if you have this feature, implement it. Treat it like another channel, right? It's just another channel for your store. The crucial thing here is with these transactions, because they're happening within a chat environment, what's going to happen is that you're going to ask for a product, you're going to do some discovery, the agent's going to find the product, you can ask some questions, a bit of back and forth on warranty, shipping costs, all of those sorts of things. The key here is to make all that factual information as easy as possible for the agent to pull. And that's what Shopify is doing with Agentic Commerce and what they're doing with this storefront. So if you're not on Shopify, wait, there's more. Shopify is making a huge play now into almost agentic commerce infrastructure, a bit like what Google's doing with their UCP. They've got this thing called Agentic Plan. Now, if you don't have a Shopify store, this is where you can step into agentic commerce, which is pretty amazing. Consider all the different platforms we've worked on over the years. Some of them have just been atrocious. I won't name you Magento, but they're like cumbersome, slow, all sorts of problems, right? Now we've got still some clients on really old e-commerce legacy platforms. And part of their problem with conversions is that whole checkout flow. Agentic commerce gets around that because it's bringing everything into the platform, the chat platform. And so the user never has to visit your shooting site. They can just check out within that platform. The key here to remember is that once that checkout happens, then the relationship is over to you, the merchant. So you will still own the client. There is no record at this stage of your transactions or follow-up, where's my order. All of that stuff happens directly with you. So what's key here is that whatever you're doing with agentic commerce, just understand that that shopper is checking out in an environment that's not on your store. So that first email confirmation, hey, we received your order. Are you even sending one of those? You should be. Then that has to really hammer home your brand, what your brand's about, everything that they need to know so they can easily come back and see the Klaviyo pop-up for the 10% discount on their next order, because they're not going to see it on the first order. Hopefully that's helpful. Love to know what you think about this movement, but it is something that, to me, was inevitable. And we're just, the 10 blue links, all that stuff, it's going away, right? And if you're still spending money on backlinks, really, have a think about this. Have a look, go in and read their papers. I'll put all the links in the description. Go and research this and tell me, if you can, why backlinks have any impact on agentic commerce at all. I'd love to know. And please, always remember, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. Thank you for subscriptions are up. I'm going to be doing these more regularly again this year. I may even do some YouTube shorts this year as well. And I didn't get any feedback on TikTok, but let me know. And we'll see you next week. Thanks very much. Bye.